welcome back to Two Wavy Girls on the Internet.
I am Alyson Lupo.
And I'm Wavy Curly Courtney. We celebrate all things wavy curly and wonderfully real.
We play around with all the products and we read the backs of the bottles so that you do not have to. Yay! Welcome. Thanks for joining Two Wavy Girls on the Internet today. We're so glad that you guys are here. We are going to answer questions today too. That's one of the things that I know Courtney and I chatted about before we got onto this was we need to answer some questions. We didn't get to answer a lot last time, but we answered a few. But we want to keep this recording down to below an hour. We were shooting for like 30 minutes last time, but we're big talkers and you guys have good questions and we have fun. So 30 minutes to an hour, I think is good, but I hope you guys stay for the whole thing because we've got lots of great things to share. And I know we'll have lots of good questions to answer. So welcome. Hi, Courtney.
Hey, Alyson, it's so good to see your beautiful face. Thank you to everyone who is joining us here on YouTube live for this podcast. And if you're listening to it post-recording, thank you too, but you can't see our beautiful faces. So, Alyson, you look so lovely today.
Well, thank you. You know, I did a surprise thing today. Do you want to know what it is?
Of course I do.
I want to know which side of my hair, after being out in the snow in Dallas, Texas, the like 3 inches of snow that we got all day long, which side of my hair did I refresh? If you're watching this live or you're watching on YouTube, you know it. You can see me. Which side did I refresh and which side did I not?
All right. Can I share my answer?
Of course.
Wait, it's backwards. This one, this side.
My side closer to the cactus or closer to the live plants?
Cactus.
Yes, correct. Closer to the cactus on the wall, not the cactus in the room. Yes, I refreshed this side, but I did not refresh this side. But I want to ask you a question, because I think about this all the time. Does it matter?
No.
Can you really even tell all that much?
Only because you ask. If you hadn't asked, I wouldn't have said anything.
Yes, and that is exactly what I was hoping you would say. I totally am putting Courtney on the spot. This is totally not rehearsed because I was thinking earlier, I don't have to care a lot of the time. I work for myself. I usually work from home. I'm not having to go into an office, and so many of our followers are. And when I start thinking about wavy hair care tips, I think, well, I don't care. It doesn't matter. And I feel like you and I talk a lot about just being who you are, accepting your waves as they are, trying to remind people that you are how God made you, you are who you are beautiful, blah, 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 right? But people go into offices still, and maybe they need to care more than I sometimes remember, more than I give them credit for. I used to have to do that too. I worked for a Fortune 500 company for like 10 years. So I remember what it was like. And so when we start talking about wavy hair care in the winter, yes, refreshing is where it's at. But one of the trends that I'm kind of following right now, and I don't know if you've seen this, is that brushed out waves and curls are expected to come back in a big way. It's expected to be huge this year. So this side is completely picked out, brushed out. If you're watching, you can see. If you can't, imagine my waves all kind of like puffy and not as defined. My other side is more defined, but truly at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And no one's going to notice unless you tell them. So just something to start with, just a thought I had as I was getting ready for our show today.
And something that is definitely on the forefront of both your and my mind is how do we care for these waves in the winter? Because we had a cold snap and our whole town, where I'm at, my whole town shut down because we got half an inch of snow on the ground. Schools were canceled, stores were closed, like everything shut down. Now, to be fair, it did rain before then, it froze, and then the roads were just lovely covered with a thick layer of ice, and then our tiny little sad half an inch of snow on top. So maybe there's a little more to it. I know that people in other parts of the US laugh when they hear we shut down for so little snow.
But I'm going to back us up. I will say that in the Texas, okay, like we tend to hover around freezing. Like we go up and then everything melts during the day, and then we go down to we're going to be in the 20s here in Dallas tonight. Tonight, it's going, all the stuff that's slushy, the sun has just come out for the first time today. All that slushy stuff is going to get ultra hard and slick and just dangerous to drive on overnight. So We don't have chains for our tires. I will give us that. We do not know what we are doing in that regard. So everything shuts down for a few days.
We don't have salt trucks. We don't have snow plows. So yeah, we do shut down, and it is funny. I can laugh at us, but
Yes.
like also I'm going to stay home because I don't want to spiral and die on the road.
No. I'm not going to go up on the high five and be like, oh, I can't get down now. This is not worth it. You know where I'm going to be? I'm going to be at home, or maybe walk into like the neighborhood playground or park or the school close by. If I can go there on my feet, I will go. I will go.
So tell me, Alyson, what did you notice specifically in your hair when this cold snap hit? Because right before this, it was like livable outside. It wasn't so cold. And then now the outside hurts my face when I walk outside. Like, why does the air hurt? Because it's cold. So what did
and
you
dry?
Notice? Yeah. What did
dry. I wake
do?
up in the morning, my skin is so dry. Before we started recording, I went and like spritzed things on my face. I was like, oils, lotions. I just look so dry. And the same goes for our hair. I mean, my hair, one of the first things I noticed as soon as that humidity drops is that my hair, now that it's so much longer, is like sticking to my face, because like that's where the humidity is, right? My hair is like static clinging to my face, and I just cannot. I hate that. I hate that so much. I will do anything to make that
issue.
It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. And this is not a hair care product, but it's the one thing I do. And I didn't even grab one to come show you, but I think everybody knows what this is. Did your parents do this to you when you were younger? A dryer sheet.
So
did you get a dryer sheet and run it along your hair? That's what I do.
I have a weird thing with the dryer sheets because I'm a wannabe crunchy mom. And so like I heard all the stuff and things about the dryer sheets. And so I don't know if it's true at all, but what I've started doing in lieu of a dryer sheet is getting a spray leave-in conditioner on dry hands, spray leave-in conditioner, and just running it over those static, and it's killing the static. It's knocking that static electricity down so I can stand.
Perfect. It's really the same thing. It's really doing the same thing. It's taking some kind of fat. So like what's on those dryer sheets is what I've heard, and y'all don't come at me if I'm wrong, because I didn't verify this on the internet before I got in here, is animal fat is on those dryer sheets. And that is what gets that static electricity to make your clothes stop sticking to you. And so you're taking like the avocado oil, the shea butter, the whatever good healthy fat is actually in your conditioner, and running that over your hair. And that is like the bomb. Is there any particular leave-in conditioner that you like for that? Like that you spray in your hand? Or is it anyone put like into a water bottle and spritzed on your hand?
I don't use just any conditioner in a water bottle. I am trying specific spray leave-in conditioners. Like I'm in product testing mode because I looked in my cabinet and I feel like I used to have a pretty decent little stash of a couple of options of different spray leave-in conditioners. And then all of a sudden they were not there. I don't know what happened. My closet of shame that is my product cabinet ate them. So
they went deep into the product graveyard. They're like in the graveyard now.
Nobody should ever have this many products, but I enjoy it. So the one that I have started trying just recently is the Shea Moisture Coconut one. It's the white bottle. Cannot remember. Didn't grab it. I grabbed a bunch of other wavy hair care products for the winter, but not that one. I should have. Anyway,
that's okay. That's
really nice.
That's the one you're reaching for. Good to know. I'm always reaching for the Inner Sense Pure Inspiration Daily Conditioner. This one is my favorite just because it's light. It's not formulated to be a leave-in conditioner, but I use it to refresh with all the time. It would be one I would smooth the sticky frizz hair sticking to my face back with if it wasn't for the quick dryer sheet that I grab in the laundry room, because I'm doing laundry and my hair's on my face and I can't take it anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. So what else do you, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what are some of your other favorite winter hair care products for wavy hair?
Well, I find that it is all about combating dryness for my skin, for my hair, everything. I didn't bring my entire pillow in here, but if you don't have a silk pillowcase, I know we talked about this last time, the silk pillowcase is the bomb. It just absorbs so much less oil and moisture, like from your overall body, your face, that if you don't have one of those, that is my probably number one. But I think it comes down to the cleansing process, and the styling process. So for me, I grabbed some favorites. And I know that sounds really obvious, cleansing and styling, but if you're over cleansing, then you're drying out your hair. If you're one of my like my fine wavy clients that are like scared of conditioner, don't be scared of the conditioner. Use the conditioner. So I grabbed my kind of gross, don't judge me if you're watching this, bottle of Hair Story New Wash Original. This continues to be my favorite. So this is a cleanser and conditioner in one. I love it because it doesn't overstrip my hair. It cleans my scalp really well, and I don't have to like think about all the things. It is the cleanser and it is the conditioner. I leave it on for 3 minutes. I scrub my scalp, and I know that scalp care is something we're going to be talking about also, because like if your face is tight and dry, your scalp is probably feeling the same way. So we'll get to that one. But then for me, I then go straight into leave-in conditioner, never skip it. And then I use a gel that is glycerin free. So my favorite this time of year is Jessie Curl Spiralicious. Have you used this gel? I think it's like an old standby. It's been around forever, and I love it.
I don't understand the Jessie Curl products because you read the ingredients label and they're really clean, basic, natural formulas. And there was this trend going around on the internet like 5 years ago where people with wavy hair went, oh, if it has an oil in it, I cannot use it. Sorry, that was really mean of me to use such a snarky voice, but there were a lot of wavy haired people who said, oh, it contains shea butter, I'm not going to touch it. And it really does depend on how it's formulated. And there is something about the Jessie Curl product formulations that are incredible. They are really hydrating, but they're also incredibly lightweight. So there was a time when I was reading too much stuff on the internet and saw that Jessie Curl had like jojoba oil in Spiralicious gel. And I was like, oh, that's going to weigh down my hair. No, it doesn't. It just moisturizes and has incredible hold.
It's wild. They don't skimp on, I think, ingredients either. So in Jessie Curl Spiralicious, polyquaternium 6,9 is the second ingredient. Mm-hmm. That's a very expensive raw material, and you don't see it in a lot of products anymore. It used to be the number 2 ingredient in the Diva Curl foam way back in the day, and they switched it out to something called polyamide 1. We're getting a little nerdy sciencey here, but it never worked as well for me. It was sticky. It was heavy. It didn't have the same like curl enhancement that this does, I think, because of that ingredient, and the same humidity protection because of this ingredient. So one of the things that I've talked about for a long time, and I know you have too, Courtney, is that glycerin is like the great equalizer. If it's really dry outside, if you use a product in your hair styling product wise, not like a cleansing or conditioning product, like a styling product, I have found that glycerin will, while it has a lot of reasons to be used in a product formulation, generally it can make hair, especially hair that's higher porosity, more prone to reactivity. So if it's really dry outside, that glycerin is going to help give all that moisture away to the environment. And if it's really humid outside, that glycerin is going to help pull more of that moisture to the hair. In either case, you end up with frizzy hair. So generally speaking, when it's really dry or really humid, one of those extremes, I tend to reach for Jessie Curl Spiralicious just because it doesn't contain glycerin and it contains polyquaternium 6,9, which really help with just blocking the insane weather that we live with.
So because I went down this crazy rabbit hole of trying way too many products and getting really sciencey and like documenting 9 different points of comparison over 300 different curly hair products. It's absurd.
I saw that and I thought, wow, okay, continue.
I stumbled across something that I haven't seen anybody talking about that I think this may be game-changing, groundbreaking when it comes to the discussion around glycerin. And I'm curious if you've ever noticed it too. I know that not everyone is going to try so many different products. So like, if you haven't noticed it, I totally get it. But here's the thing with glycerin. I have noticed that in products that contain a decent amount of glycerin, like it's the second ingredient on the ingredients label, usually that would mean automatically that I'm going to avoid that product in non-ideal dew points. However, if the second ingredient is glycerin, but there is also a heavier oil in the product, like shea butter, avocado oil, not lightweight oils like argan oil or olive oil, but slightly heavier, longer chain fatty acid oils that somehow the oil offsets the negative effects of the glycerin in the product. And I can use a product that contains glycerin outside non-ideal dew point ranges if it also contains the heavier oil. For example, the Curlsmith Souffle. Perfect example. I can use that literally anytime and get incredible curls.
That makes actually a lot of sense to me because I've always really referenced the finishing, like a finishing product, like a gel, the last product. And that gel is more than likely not going to have any of those oils in it. It's going to have the glycerin in it, but it's going to have other hold ingredients, but it's not going to have those oils. And so generally speaking, I have kind of thought of the glycerin as being harmful when it's in those finishing final-ish products, but not in like your leave-in conditioner, not in your creams necessarily. But you think that if you don't use a gel and you just use a cream-based product, that product, that even with the glycerin in it, it still works well for you.
It's actually a gel. The Curlsmith Styling Souffle is a gel.
When you say souffle, it makes me think that does it have white? Is it a white color? So is it creamy? Does it have other creamy things in it? Or is it does it look like this? Is it a gel?
Okay, it's not this, but it's this texture.
Interesting. Okay,
so interesting. Gel, custard, souffle kind of thing. It's not cream-based at all.
That's fascinating. Okay.
All gel. And you know how good your hair acts when you use a gel that has glycerin in it in an ideal dew point range? Like the magic that happens. That Curlsmith Souffle gives me that same glistenery magic in any dew point range.
Glycerin. I want to say it over and over again. Glycerin.
I can't get it out. You're saying it better than I can.
I love that. Now I need to play with this product though. That sounds amazing.
I've had really good luck with it. It's very cool. So why don't I share a couple of products that I personally start looking for a lot in the winter? Okay. This is going to come in slightly later, but scalp care becomes a thing for me in the winter. I start really having to be intentional about it. This is the Curlsmith Wash and Scrub Detox Shampoo. There are a myriad of different reasons that I love this. Curlsmith calls this a clarifying shampoo, which is cute. Curlsmith, no, this is not clarifying.
Don't you love it when things are mislabeled and you're like, that's not right?
I will say, of all the Curlsmith shampoos, I see why they called this their clarifying shampoo. It is the most clarifying of everything they've got, but I wouldn't label this as clarifying. I would call this like a standard low poo, like basic wash day product right here. It has Perlite as its scrub, which is an all-natural scrub that is incredibly gentle and has detoxifying properties. It also has apple cider vinegar in it, which that acidity helps dissolve my incredibly oily, greasy scalp and dryness and flakes.
It's also, I was going to say, it's massively pH correcting to the skin on your scalp.
But it's not super acidic. It's just barely. Like if most shampoos are a pH of 3, which is slightly more acidic than the pH of 4.5 to 5 that you normally are, this would maybe be like a 2.8, maybe a 2.5. So like just a skosh more acidic than a standard shampoo.
You're also using that on wet hair. And so remember that water is always at a pH of 7-ish. So that's gonna bring it up anyway. Perfect.
The harder your water is, the higher the pH becomes. And since you can basically, like, my water is so hard, I can't think of a good analogy, but it is redonkulously hard where I am. So it's probably like a pH of
you're washing your hair with relaxer.
Oh my gosh, pretty much. Anyway, love this in the winter. I start reaching for it a lot. It also has some soothing ingredients that help calm and soothe irritation, which I tend to get more prone to. I like the Curlsmith Multitasking Conditioner as a daily conditioner. If I'm needing to pump up the deep conditioning because the temperatures got real cold, I reach for the double cream deep quencher as my like more of a deep conditioner type situation.
Okay.
The only curl cream that I have ever gotten along with ever is the Trey Luxe 4-in-1 hydrating cream. It's lightweight enough that I can use it. Most other curl creams are so stinking heavy that I immediately looked weighed down, greasy, whatnot. This has enough hold on its own that I can use it as a single styler, but it is straight up a cream. Like,
yes, turn that upside down. I've used that before. That is some thick stuff. It is good though. It's good though. It ain't gonna come out of there.
no.
It's good stuff. It's been a long time since I played with that one. And it's so budget friendly too. Like I find it at Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Trelix is, I think, probably one of my favorite, if not my very favorite, like drugstore, grocery store line to play with. Absolutely think that their quality is top notch.
Totally agree. Now, on the other hand, the high definition gel from Trey Luxe, I can't use this in the spring, summer, fall. It is too hydrating. I save this for when I need all the moisture. If there is somebody talking to me who says, my hair always feels so dry and crispy and bad, I'm like, this one.
Is that one the high definition that you're holding right there, or is that the cream? That's the high definition gel.
Oops, hold up. Okay. High definition gel. This is the cream. The labels are so
they're too similar. They're so similar. I cannot tell them apart. Yes. Okay. So I think I bought the cream by accident one time and I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was, but I still really loved it. So I kept it. And then I got the high definition gel. So yes.
This has propylene glycol in it. So most people who are reading ingredients labels aren't going to see the term glycerin. But what a lot of people don't know is that propylene glycol is also a short chain humectant. It is not as powerful as glycerin, but it's glycerin's slightly weaker cousin. So this I have overhydrated my hair with, overconditioned my hair with multiple times.
No kidding. Interesting. But you haven't had the same thing happen with glycerin? Ah, that's fascinating.
Yeah. Isn't it weird?
Yeah, I just want to be a hair scientist. Go ahead.
Can we? Let's open up a hair scientist something. I don't know what. But oops, brain jam. Love that on a Friday. The last product that is really hydrating, like I need all the hold and all the hydration when it gets really cold. This, I did not make it home, but it looks like I did. It's the Eco Slay Orange Marmalade. I love that they allow you to like decant your own products, kind of like Hair Story does. This is incredibly hydrating, but again, I have to save it for the winter. If I try and use it when it's warmer outside, it's too conditioning for my hair. It's too hydrating.
So did you put that in that little jar? Did they send you that jar? It's so cute. I want to know where you got the jar. Let's talk more about the jar.
It's plastic. It looks cute, but it is plastic. It comes from EcoSlay. You can buy the pouch and the jar together for your first purchase. And then after that, just buy the pouches to refill. I did fill it myself, but it came from EcoSlay. So you can.
I love that they do that. I love because then they're sending you those pouches and it's so much less plastic. I love that these brands are doing this now. Like Hair Story is doing that with a couple of their products. They haven't done it with Undressed yet, which is one of my very favorites of theirs.
Yeah.
For refreshing, it's amazing. But I need that to come out for that one. And then, of course, they have the pouches that you can refill into the big. But those refill pouches are life. I love that. So good. So good. What other winter hair care products? Anything else there? You want to move on to seasonal scalp care?
There was one more thing. And this is like a life hack for the dry skin girlies.
I got to know.
Sleep with a humidifier.
Oh gosh, yes. I thought about that last night while I was in bed. And I was like, why haven't I busted that thing out yet? Like, you know, when you're just like breathing the dry air and you're like, it's so dry. And you wake up in the morning and like your mouth is just like you ate 16 saltine crackers and you're like, can't even make sense of life. Yes, the humidifier. Is there one in particular that you like? I have so many. I have favorites.
Oh my gosh. All I use is my kids' Frida, the Frida humidifier. That's the only one I have.
The ones that I have bought, I've trashed so many others. That sounds so wasteful. I'm so sorry, everybody. But if the little hole that you put the water in is like this size, the size of like
Mm,
my finger touching my thumb, that ain't never gonna like all evaporate out of there. It's gonna be 2 weeks before I can finally put that big thing away. So I like the Homedics one. I'm probably saying it's wrong. Homedics? Homedics. I don't know. But
home medics.
oh my God, that makes so much sense. Homedics. Got it.
I don't
Okay.
know. I was saying it with my super thick West Texas accent there.
No, I love it. I think that's exactly right. So Homedics, that one, there's a couple, I have them in my Amazon shop, but they have a gigantic opening that I mean is like probably 3 inches across. So that like you can stick your whole hand in there and like actually clean that thing because they get gross.
Yes.
You can get in there with a sponge and like clean it and it will dry quickly. So if the whole like needing to clean it, can't bring yourself to do it thing is what's holding you back, that's what helped me.
Gotcha. That is fantastic. I've just been using rubbing alcohol. If you pour some rubbing alcohol in there and then
Yeah.
just shake the snot out of it, it
Well,
breaks
see,
loose all the slime.
shake the slime. My God, but that's the all you need to do if you have slime. If your slime has turned green because you don't clean yours for a month like me, because I'm secretly gross like Brad Pitt, then like you need more than just rubbing alcohol. You need soap,
Yeah.
you need friction, and then you use the rubbing alcohol after that. Yes, yes, yes. So scalp care, now that
So
we've talked about
scalp
the grossest things
care.
in the world, scalp care. What are your favorite things? Are you a dry, itchy scalp girly? I usually am not. Are you?
I am oily,
Okay.
like
Okay.
obnoxiously oily, greasy. It like
Okay.
I'm gross like Brad Pitt because of my oily, greasy scalp.
But like what happens like when you say you're oily, like what happens? How do you have scalp problems? Describe what yours are like.
I'm allergic to my own sebum. No, just
Okay.
kidding. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but what it feels like is when the oilier and greasier I get, the more piecey and separated my roots are. When the oil has traveled about that far on my roots and they're pieced together that like 4 inches worth, my scalp itches so badly, but
How
like
many
a
days
deep
does it take you to get there?
2.
Oh, bless. Okay.
Yep. And it doesn't matter what I do. It's if I co-wash for 6 months, it's still the same level oil of grease. Actually, I've never co-washed consecutively for 6 months. I did it for a month though, and it didn't change at all. Um, it doesn't matter if I try and go longer in between wash days. All that does is put me in a really bad spot for folliculitis and constant inflammation.
And you
If
have a lot of hair, so that makes sense. I
Mhm.
mean, you have a lot of hair, so moisture stays on your scalp for a long time. Water does.
hmm
Yeah.
So, what I just started doing, and I've never done this in 6 years, or I haven't stumbled across this in 6 years, but it's working. It is scalp serums. The two that I currently am
Okay.
enjoying a lot, and they're water based. They are not oil based because, like, I have enough oil. Thank you. Let me see if you're watching this on YouTube. Can we see the water clear liquid dripping? This is the Pacifica
Very, very
Scalp
runny.
Love Mint Serum. And the ingredients label reads something like this: water, vitamin B, rosemary leaf extract, vitamin C, aloe, hyaluronic acid. So, like, not oily, totally absorbs into my skin if I put it on my hand. The other one that I really love, oh, yay, there's not the ingredients label in there, so I can't tell you, but it's very similar. It is the Love Your Curls Healthy Scalp Serum. It has really yummy fragrance, but it's also totally clear
That
on the
one's
back of my
that one's
hand.
a lot thicker though. That little one looks like it almost has glycerin in it. It has like that not that that's bad, but just that it has like more of that sort of
Mhm.
viscous sort of it's going to stay. It's not going to absorb as fast, which is nice especially if
Right.
you're probably like if you're a dry scalp girly.
What I find, I think aloe is high up on the ingredients label in both of these. It soothes the inflammation, the itch that I'm getting. And because it's water based, it's slightly rinsing off my scalp. And I diffuse, like I rub it into my scalp and then I diffuse, hover diffuse to kind of dry it further. And I'm not getting that super crazy itchy feeling in the winter.
And the rosemary and mint are key to that too, because obviously both are antifungal. Um, I have a friend who's from Honduras originally, and her hair is long, like down to her butt long. And I was like, "Hey, what do you like wash your hair with?" And she goes, "What do I wash my hair with now, or what did I used to wash my hair with?" And I was like, what do you used to wash your hair with? I don't understand that question. She's like, "Well, in Honduras, most of the time we just wash our hair with like water that we stick a sprig of rosemary in for like a week." So it's
Oh.
like rosemary fermented water.
Mm.
What a cool hack, right? Like that even might be kind of a something there, because rosemary is it's a pretty cool ingredient.
It is. Okay, I haven't dug into it as much as I should, but from what I understand, rosemary extract has some properties that are very similar to minoxidil. Am I saying that right? It's basically Rogaine. Like
Oh,
it helps.
minoxidil. Minoxidil, am I saying it right?
I don't know, but I think
Cool, whatever it is.
so. Basically, Rogaine, and it blocks hair shedding. Like it helps disrupt the hair growth cycle and keep your hair in the anagen phase longer.
That's so cool. So it blocks that hormone called DHT.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Wow. I didn't know that about rosemary. That is so cool. I love learning so much stuff from you. You're so smart.
I don't know about that. Please double check me. I just read too much on the internet. I read it on the internet. That doesn't mean it's true.
Okay. I have one for seasonal scalp. So,
This is
tonic.
so good.
I love tonic. It's from a little tiny brand out of Utah called Cult and King.
Mhm.
They are so cool. They're like a little teeny tiny, like 12-person company. They're the best. I adore them. They everything is indie. They only sell to stylists or through their website. They refuse to work with Sephora and all the big companies and Amazon and all that kind of stuff, which is like stick it to the man. But the man is also very convenient. So I don't really know. I have an Amazon membership. I can't pretend like I'm that kind of cool. I'm not. But I love Colton King. Their products are amazing. But Tonic, it's Tonik, is a wonderful product that has menthol crystals actually dissolved in it. So when you apply this to your scalp, like if you spritz it over your head, like it's not going to make it to your scalp. As with any scalp serum, like the ones you're showing us, this one comes with a spray. You really have to make sure that you position that little sprayer nozzle like where you want it to go. So you will need to part your hair in like rough sections, get it in, rub it around, but it makes your scalp feel so tingly good. And it's got other ingredients like witch hazel. Let me see if I can remember off the top of my head, because I, like you, don't have the ingredients in front of me. Witch hazel, white willow bark extract, which is like a natural substitute for salicylic acid. So it can really help with blemishes, breakouts on your scalp. I believe banana leaf juice is the second ingredient. So there's no water. So it's moisturizing without being oily. It's my favorite product for itchy scalp. And my scalp is different from yours, Courtney, in that when I was your age, when I was in my 30s, I'm so old and wise now, but when I was in my 30s, and especially in my 20s and my teens, I know we touched on this in our last podcast episode. So if you guys haven't checked out episode 1 yet, by all means, please go back and check out episode 1. I was so much oilier, and I did not realize that my scalp had gotten so much drier until I started doing this curly girl method thing in like my late 30s. And I wouldn't even say that my scalp was dry, but I needed to wash my hair every 2 or 3 days. Now that I'm in my like mid 40s, I'm going to be 45 this year. Blarg. I know, right? Wisdom, wisdom. Okay. So that has totally changed my hair. I
Mm,
went 6 days the other day without washing my hair, and I
that's
was,
amazing.
it was amazing. Now, when I say amazing, I mean, oh, look, my ends are crusty and dry. Actually, not
Ah,
amazing. And my scalp was not oily, but it was itchy. And
mhm.
then I was like, I got to wash this scalp. So I tonicked to get me through just not having to wash it that night, because I really hate washing my hair at night. Some people love that. That's not my jam. So I used tonic all over my scalp, rubbed that in, and it was instantly soothed. My itchy scalp, 11-year-old child, she loves the tonic because her scalp is more like yours. She's got to wash her hair like every night because she's entered that oily hair phase in her life.
Yeah.
Tonic is her best friend. If she's like, I do not have time to wash my hair tonight, but my scalp is itchy, I can get to it in the morning. It's the bridge to get you by. Okay. So then I washed my hair after that 6-day stint. And then 2 days later, my scalp was itchy again. It was like I had
Mhm.
started a problem and I was like, oh no. Yeah.
That's what happens to me. I
Ooh.
tried so hard to scalp train and go like, because that's what the internet told me. The
All
internet
hormonal.
told me I could scalp train, but then it like put me in a place where I was having to wash my hair every day because I had started a wildfire of inflammation on my scalp that
Yes.
took me time to reset.
And this was the thing that helped me because that second day I was like, I can't believe I'm already itchy. I
Mhm.
had to full scalp tonic and it still was just a little bit borderline itchy. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to wash it tomorrow. Like, can't. So now I don't go more than like 4 days.
Mhm.
So if I wash my hair, that's day 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 2 days in between, and then I'm washing my hair on that fourth day. I don't go past that, or I get into itchy scalp territory. I'm glad I have something that can save me, but I don't want to get myself to that point either because it
Exactly.
is a slippery slope. And as much as, especially this time of year when it's winter and it's cold, and we don't want to wash our hair because freaking
It's
hate being
cold.
cold. Like, get yourself a space heater. That's what one of my clients said to me the other day was, well, Alyson, just get yourself a space heater. And I was like, well, you're so smart. Why didn't I think of that? I have a small bathroom. It heats up pretty quickly once that hot water gets going.
Yeah.
But the space heater does make it easier to just get the ball rolling. So if you need a little hack to get the ball rolling, you have my permission to get you a space heater.
Also, my husband stole my scalp tonic. I picked up that
Oh,
scalp tonic from you.
it's
Loved it.
because the bottle looks cool and they when they figure out it feels good, they steal it every time. I have
Yep.
so many clients that have to buy separate bottles for their husband. You're cracking me up because it's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
So what do you do, Alyson, post holiday hair rehab?
When you say holiday hair, what you mean is somebody who was lazy and went for 6 days without washing her hair because it's not like I'm in that period in my life where like I went out on the town and I like used all the hairspray and all the curlers
Mhm.
and like the curling irons and like did all the things. But if I had the one thing that I would be reaching for, in addition to my deep conditioner, any deep conditioner, just deep conditioner. I don't even care what you use anymore, just deep conditioner. I have lots of favorites. I've talked about them over the years. I'm sure you can find a list of deep conditioners that I love and I can share that. But the real hero
Mhm.
is the thermal hair care scalp. I mean, what is this called? Hothead.
Mhm.
Thermal hair care. I'm holding mine up. Mine is crusty and old. I've had it for a million years. They come out with lots of cute prints. If you're not going to order for thermal hair care, which I suggest that you do, and I don't have a code from them or anything. Like I wish that I did, but I don't. But this is a small, like woman-owned business. Just go to her website, thermalhaircare.com. I think she's amazing, and she has made these for you. She used to hand stitch these. I'm sure she has people that help her now. But the hothead is a really cool, totally hands-free way to apply heat to your deep condition. So you pop this bad boy in the microwave. It's filled with, I believe, flax seeds because they're small and they're flat. And it's stitched in like a quilted pattern so that they don't all end up in one part of it. You know, they kind of have their little pockets that they stay in. You throw this bad boy in the microwave on high for like 30 seconds, flip it over, do another 30 seconds or a minute. And then you've got your deep conditioner on your hair. Of course, you've got to use some kind of like perm cap or some kind of plastic cap because this particular item itself is not waterproof. And then you pull that over the top and it is warm and it makes your deep condition magical. The warmth helps your cuticle open a little bit and accept that deep conditioner. It just makes it go so much faster. It stays hot for about 20 minutes, I would say. So if that's your 20-minute deep condition, you basically just deep conditioned for like 2 to 3 hours with
Mhm.
the acceleration that a cap like that provides. You can find other things like that on Amazon, but I just love her business and I like supporting the small business person. So I'm going to suggest my Hothead by Thermal Care Hair Care. How about you?
Totally agree. Word of warning, make sure that you protect it from getting wet because
Yeah.
I totally trashed my first thermal hair care hothead by getting it wet. Why? Because there are flax seeds in it. How do I know? Mine molded. It was great.
Oh
So
no, I'm
don't
so
get it wet.
sorry. Did it smell? Was it the smell that gave it away?
No, it was visible mold on the outside.
Oh,
It was
well,
horrifying.
I say all the time that water is the giver of all life, and those flax seeds, they got life in them.
They
So
do.
you just grew some life. You didn't want it there.
Let me see if I can add to anything you said. I think the only thing that I'm thinking of is making sure you are clarifying your hair properly. Um, and for me, that tends to include a good chelating shampoo every once in a while because of how dadgum hard our water is out here. But I feel like I've talked about that at nauseum. So
Give us like a quick like chelating for dummies overview, just for the people that are listening. So like, what the heck is chelating? Is like a key? Like, what does that mean? Like, give us the top three.
So chelating is a fancy word for binding to minerals. And basically, what that means is you are using a shampoo that contains specific ingredients that will chemically bind to calcium and magnesium specifically, which are the minerals in your water that make it quote unquote hard. How do you know if you have hard water? Just look at your faucets. If your faucets are crusty, guess what? You've got hard water. Other ways to check and see if you have hard water in your specific area would be to Google it. Wow, I can't talk. This is terrible for the podcast.
Yes,
I
well,
need to
water.
be
No,
able
no,
to do the
no.
words.
It's just, sometimes words are hard. And on a Friday afternoon when we've been home for 2 days because it's been snow days, it's
Mhm.
like, oh, let me scrape together the last remaining brain cells that I have for this podcast today. That's okay. That's okay.
So, so
Thank you for the overview.
you can absolutely Google that. And I find that with my super low porosity, fine, wavy hair, I am needing to chelate at least once a month because of how hard our water is. Chelating shampoos, by their nature, are usually very strong, very stripping. So I never reach for a chelating shampoo if I do not have 30 minutes of my life carved out after that to sit with my thermal hair care hothead and favorite deep conditioner on my hair. Like, that is a necessity to do both of those at the same time. You absolutely cannot chelate your hair and then use your standard wash day conditioner. It's not going to cut it. You're going to have stringy, fried, frizzy curls. Don't do that. Deep condition after chelating. But that's how I hard reset my hair after the holidays.
That's wise advice. And when Courtney says to Google it, she's talking about the United States water hardness map. So that's what you will find, because there is a whole map out there that shows you like where are the areas of hard water. Is that what you're talking about?
You could absolutely do that. I'm
Yeah.
even more basic than that. I just typed, do I have hard water in X city? And it immediately pulls it up because all cities across the United States are like, we are so proud that we know the exact hardness of our water in our city. So it's usually a website from a city council of that specific city. And the reason I do that for different cities is I have had the opportunity to do curl coaching sessions. And that's one of the questions that I ask people that do a curl coaching session with me. What is the water hardness where you are? Most of them go, what? And I say, where do you live real quick? And then I Google it. And that's
so
usually what
essential.
pops right up.
Yes, so essential. And I will say that I'm only a few hours from you, but
Mhm.
my water is not near the same hardness.
So
So
strong.
really
Mhm.
seriously, like look it up. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I better use a chelating shampoo. I never use a chelating shampoo.
Mhm.
Almost never. I used to more often, but I figured I didn't need to. I rarely ever even use a clarifying shampoo anymore. I just use a regular old Intersense shampoo, like maybe the color shampoo or the pure shampoo, and maybe I'll just shampoo twice with that. So if your water is like just not hard, like ours is moderately hard, but yours is like well water hard. Like that's a
Mhm.
whole other level, and that can make a huge difference. So don't do it unless you need to, because you will find your hair is very squeaky. And yes, you will need to carve out that 30 minutes of time to deep condition. Sage advice, friend. Sage advice.
So what is something you are into at the moment that is not hair related?
Well, I'm into all the skin things. I brought some things. Do you want to see what I brought? I
Of
brought some
course I
things.
do.
Okay. So skin and hair, I mean, they're kind of related, right? And also, like when you start to do the whole aging thing, like it changes. Like my skin is now drier than it used to be. Like I used to be very oily. Do you remember the oil papers like the Body Shop would
Mhm.
sell? The old Body Shop, are they still around? I would like all absorbed it all. Now I'm like, I need to be dewy. I need to be dewy. And I'm like putting on like the Glossier, what's that stuff? The Dew. I didn't bring that with me. I should have grabbed that one, but the Hyper Dew, Instant Dew. I can't remember what it's called, but it is very nice. And I put that on before this podcast because I was very dry.
Your skin looks incredible.
Oh, thank you. It was dry. It was very, very dry. I'm still playing with the frownies like we talked about last time. I'm not as good. Do you use them every day? Because you said you were playing with them too. Are you still playing with them?
Apparently, when you first get them, I did research that pretty good. You have to wear them every single day for 30 days. I did not hit that mark. I tried.
I didn't hit it either.
I think the most I did it in a row was like 5 days. But guys, these frownies, they dry down and it's like a splint. It's super stiff. And for the most part, it's really comfortable unless you're a wild sleeper and you roll over in the middle of the night. And then this hard splint is like poking you because like the edges are pokey. I'm still figuring out the exact placement that doesn't poke me. And some nights I just want to sleep and not think about being poked.
For me, it's the laziness of trying to punch them all out of the thing like before I have to put them on my face. And I know that that's the most cost-effective way for them to do that, to keep the price down for us. Because, gosh, I saw something about this lady that's like in her 70s. She's been using them since she was like in her 30s, literally been using them for 40 years because they've been around for over 100 years. So this is turning into the frowny show, but that's fine. Anyway, she has been using them for so long, and she like saw a little ad for them like in the back of some magazine before the internet existed.
Yep.
And they were $15 a box. They're still only $24 a box. So they haven't gone up much in price. So I applaud their efforts to keep their prices low. So I won't like complain about that. But if they were to come out with frownies that were a little bit more expensive, that were pre-punched, I would totally go for that, because the standing there and punching them out of the shape is like, I'm a lazy girl, but that's okay. I'm going to do it. I made it like 4 days in a row. So you beat me. You did 5, but I'm going to get back on it tonight. Last night, I was just like, I can't do it. And then, of course, I woke up this morning and I was like, I wish I had done it.
So, that's how I feel. That's how I feel when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, oh, man.
I don't do them anywhere close to my eyes, though. I do like, you know what we should do next time? And I'm actually working on a video of this right now. I started filming it. It's the aging skincare things that I'm doing right now. So it's coming out soon. It does include how I apply my frownies and then the other things that I'm playing with. So I won't give it all away, but next time, hopefully I will release that this week. I'm not fast at editing and getting videos out, but I will get that out as soon as I can. And then maybe in our next one, we can show how we do our little placements, because I think that's fun. But the things that I'm loving, okay, they're kind of different. So frownies is obviously one. We talked about that in the last podcast. Check it out if you'd like to. Okay, some things I'm loving. I'm going to start with skincare, and then I'll do a little makeup. I brought just 4 things. Okay, have you heard of this brand called Slurp Laboratories?
No.
Okay, so they're a little company. I want to say that they are, where are they located? Slurp Laboratories. Now I need to remember where they are. Hold on, I have got to get this right. I'm going to be ashamed of myself.
Well, while you are digging that up, I'll go ahead and I'll share the thing that I am really into that is not hair related. And it is Make Wellness supplements. And it is the Fit, specifically from Make Wellness. I'm working on putting together all my thoughts to like be a coherent human and share. But the long story short is that I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune condition that is inflammation driven. Basically, my immune system got really confused and thought it would be super fun to start snacking on my joints. And that starts an inflammation spiral, because the more inflammation's in your joints, the more the rheumatoid arthritis goes to that joint. Anyway, I am working with a rheumatologist. I thought when I was first diagnosed, I could totally cure myself through diet. Nope, I could not. I have tried any and every single diet you have ever heard of on the internet to heal yourself. I have tried it. I'm sorry, none of them worked. I really did try. And I also thought, okay, cool. I'm going to do this the natural way, and I'm going to go to a holistic doctor, use homeopathic medicine, and I'm going to cure myself. Tried that, spent thousands of dollars.
I have also done this for asthma and allergies with the acupuncture. I did the same thing, and it was not my solution.
Like I hurt with the amount of money that I think that I spent that didn't actually fix the problem that
But you
promised
know
to fix the
now, you
problem.
don't have to wonder if that would have been the solution. You
That's
saw it through
true.
to the end. And that's what I have to tell myself about the acupuncture, because I have so many clients that tell me the acupuncture was like changed their life, was the end all be all. And I wanted that to be the case for me, and it wasn't. So yeah,
So
you
anyway,
know.
I just on a whim, I enjoy weight training. That also helps me manage my autoimmune condition. But there's this supplement and it's from Make Wellness and it uses bioactive precision peptides to enhance muscle recovery. Oh my gosh, it reduces inflammation, it improves recovery, it increases energy, but in a non like jittery way. I it actually I don't I just got done going to the rheumatologist. They looked at me and this is the absolute best I have been in the 5 years that they are seeing me.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I was not okay before. I was fine. I was functioning, but I was not okay. I started taking the Make Wellness Fit. That's literally the only thing I switched. And my RA went into remission.
It went into remission.
Straight up remission.
Oh, congratulations. My gosh, that is incredible. How long has it been?
Not terribly long. So I'm hopeful, but like not over the moon. Like I'm too scared to be fully happy, if that makes sense, because this is something that I've been dealing with for so long. But 2 months, 2 solid months without a flare.
I'm so happy for you.
And this
Wait,
is
okay.
during the cold snap. Like I should be crippled right now, like I have been for the past 5 years. Every winter, I'm just like, okay, cool. I can't move. My joints are on fire. No, I am fine. And Make Wellness Fit is the only thing that I have switched. It really lowered my inflammation, made my workouts better. It's incredible.
I got to look this stuff up, because if I feel like if it decreases your inflammation that much, it can decrease inflammation for so many people for so many other reasons. I mean, because
Mhm.
they say that inflammation is sort of like the root of disease, right?
Yeah.
But inflammation is also a natural process. Your body does that to try to heal things, but also it's a problem. I don't know enough about inflammation and body care in that way to fully
Yeah.
understand that. But when I wake up in the morning like real puffy, all
Mhm.
inflamed, I'm like, okay, would love to do something about that. So this Make Wellness, is this a company that has lots of different supplements, or is this Fit one just the one you've been taking?
They have
Like,
several different supplements. There is a weight loss supplement that uses bioactive precision peptides as well. It's a different peptide that is in the Fit and the Lean. Lean is the weight loss one,
mhm.
but it's super cool because it helps you lose just fat. Like everybody's taking weight loss drugs at this point. We all know the name. I'm not sure I can say it without getting this video demonetized. But those are peptides, they're synthetic peptides. They're not natural peptides.
Okay.
And when people take weight loss drugs that are synthetic peptides, not only do they lose fat, which is great, but they also lose muscle mass. And that is a big, big, big problem when you are over the age of 35. It becomes incredibly difficult to build muscle mass back. So you may drop a whole lot of weight, which is good for your overall health, but you've lost a lot of muscle mass in the process. The thing that's cool about the Make Wellness Lean is that it's a natural bioactive precision peptide and it helps you lose just the fat. They have tested this and tested this and tested this over 8 years.
Interesting.
You
Okay.
maintain your muscle mass and you don't lose weight. Or sorry, you lose weight, but you just lose fat, not your muscle mass. They also have a supplement called Calm, which is awesome when you're in stressful situations. And they have another one that's called Focused. And I didn't take it today, and I feel like it shows. It just helps you focus. It's natural bioactive precision peptide to help you focus. And the days that I take it, I'm dialed in. I take it on days that I'm editing videos.
Oh, nice. Okay. So do they know that you exist in the world? Do you have codes with them, or are you just taking these things and you're like, I love this stuff?
I do have a code, or sorry, I have a link.
Okay,
No,
we'll put it in the show
it's
notes.
sad.
You what?
I have no codes. I'm trying. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to know because I'm like, I will shop your link because I want to go buy some now. You sold me.
Oh
I'm there.
no,
I'm your newest customer. I'm
this
gonna
is
go buy
just
some
the thing
stuff.
that I'm into. It's really helpful. Makes me happy.
No, I love the supplements. It's too much. It's probably over the top, but yes. Okay, I found out where Slurp Laboratories is. So they're in South Korea. So it takes a while for shipping, but shipping, they do a lot of free shipping codes. So this particular product is called Decalt, and this is an acid, and it's a really, really gentle acid. And my
Ooh.
face is really sensitive. Like I have a really hard time using all of the resurfacing things that I'm supposed to be using at this point in my life. But that feeling when like the pores on your nose feel like they are turned inside out and you just like cannot take it. This stuff, it's called Decalt. I love it. It's
I
amazing.
know.
You
I
shake
need
it
to
up.
shop your link.
I just put a little in my palm and then I kind of press it into those areas. And the next morning it is like smooth, but not irritated, not angry. It's the
Okay.
bomb. It's so, so good. So I try to also stick with clean beauty. I'm going to name these quickly because my things are not as meaningful as yours, although I will name one health thing at the end. Um, are you familiar with the brand Ilia?
I
Ilia.
have heard of them. Yes.
Their clean beauty stuff is amazing. This lip wrap reviving balm is amazing and it sounds bonkers, but the little tip of the applicator is ceramic coated, so it's always cold. So when you put it on, just like the
That's
experience
nice.
of putting it on is great, but also, girl, I'm gonna be 45. Like my lips have started to get a little bit deflated and a little bit rankled, and I feel like this has really brought them back, and I like it a lot. Another thing that has brought my lips back from being all rankled is this brand Lawless. My friend Marissa got this for me at Christmas, and it's called Forget the Filler. It's actually clean beauty, and you put this on, and like it really does plump your lips, and it's amazing. So Lawless. I don't know where she got it, but I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I would just go to their website. I think it's lawless.com. And then the last beauty thing that I have is this eyeshadow palette from Tartelette. I guess it's from Tarte.
So cute.
Oh my God. The Amazonian clay ones. Have you ever used one of these? Oh,
No.
look, there we are. Oh, funny. Okay. It smells like vanilla and it's like a natural, it's not for added fragrance, like it's actual vanilla. And so every time you open it, you get this little of vanilla and the colors are so warm and pretty. And I'm just very into the warm, like sort of brown, orange eyeshadow. I think that's really beautiful and their shimmer's really good. There's very little fallout. They stay in place. I really love it. But you have the amazing eyeshadow tutorial that I still need to watch. I'm the worst. I need to go watch it so I can then go buy your beautiful palette. But I tend to get itchy on my eyelids with certain like Morphe eyeshadows have started
Mm.
my eyelids itchy. I hate that. So I like it when I can find some that I can use now.
Well, you may not want to use the eyeshadow palette that I use because it's Wet and Wild from Walmart. So
That's so very affordable though. I love that. I
yeah,
think that's fantastic.
I
And if it
really
doesn't make
enjoy that
sense,
one.
why not? The one health thing that I will share, talking about your rheumatoid arthritis and trying to be, I really tried acupuncture and I tried all the things to get my own asthma under control. But the truth is that my asthma doctor over the last like 15 years was like totally asleep at the wheel and was like, it's completely normal, Alyson, for you to basically have bronchitis every year and twice a year and need antibiotics just like twice a year. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I went to this new allergy doctor and he's wonderful. And he was like, I don't feel like that's normal. And that tells me you're on the cusp of like having a flare up all the time. I think we can
Yeah.
do better than that. So he put me on Symbicort. The generic
Ooh,
is Breyna, Breyna for what it's
okay.
worth. And what I learned is that insurance companies across the board have said, actually, we're not going to pay for this entire class of medications. All of these
Hmm.
corticosteroids, not going to pay for those,
Hmm.
which is insane that insurance companies are making those kind of calls for us, just bonkers. So get you a doctor that says, I'm going to make sure that I go after this. And I tell them that this is the standard in the American Book of Medication. Like, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. And he did all of that and got it paid for. It is $5 when I pick it up from the pharmacy. Thank you, because I was going to pay $200 a month for it
Right.
because I am fortunate that I can do that, but not everybody can do that, and that's not fair. So anyway, it's made a huge difference, and my lung function is up something like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say like 40 something percent, which is
Whoa.
incredible. And he was like, so this problem that you've been having is like reversible. And I almost cried. Like,
Oh, thank
that
goodness.
when you find a good doctor, when
Yep.
you actually use your medicine, and I've had doctors tell me in the past that the minute you start using your medicine, it's because you're feeling better. You think
Mhm.
you're cured and you're not. Keep using your medicine,
Yep. Yep.
not hair related, but
You are so right. We need to answer some questions, but I just got to say, I started taking the medication that my rheumatologist prescribed way back 5 years ago, and I went, "Oh, I'm cured," and I stopped taking it. Really bad mistake.
I
Don't
did
do
the same
that.
thing. That's how I ended up in the same one I was. And then they asked my doctor, was like, oh no, you don't need to take it. We'll just do antibiotics twice a year. No, no. Take your
No.
medicine, folks. Take your medicine. Take your medicine.
All right. You guys have already dropped a ton of questions in the chat, but we are now moving on to that portion of the segment of our wonderful wavy curly, or no, wow, wait, Two Wavy Girls on the Internet podcast.
Da, 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 da. We need a song. We need a song for sure.
We do. Wavy hair refresh. Oh, the horror. My hair looks good on day one, but despite silk, pillowcase, bonnets, etc., by day two, it's generally a heart sink. Any tips?
My first tip, Courtney, is always to manage expectations
Mm,
because, as you know, your refresh day hair is never, ever, 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 ever gonna look like your wash day hair. So that's number one, right? So, like,
yeah.
here's my non-refreshed hair, right? If I was putting myself under the microscope that our friend here may be putting herself under, I would be thinking, yeah, this is awful. Don't put yourself into that microscope. Number one, realize that not everybody is looking at your hair like you are. Okay. So that's just setting expectations. Number two is getting moisture back into your hair.
Mhm.
What would you recommend? You are someone who refreshes. Do you refresh like you wash one day and then refresh the next day always?
So I am the world's worst at refreshing. I should know by now, and I don't. But that is actually one of my resolutions for 2025 is to finally find a refresh that will have a permanent place in my hair care routine.
And you just dropped that video today about your resolutions. I need to watch that.
I did. I'm very proud of it. We've got double Courtney today. We've got a long form
Yay.
video and a podcast coming. But I am starting to experiment with refreshing, and what I'm realizing is that traditional refresh methods that most people with tighter curl patterns use do not work for my wavy hair. I am having to deal with the oil and the fact that my hair is wavy, and gravity affects wavy hair a ton. Wash day, your hair is going to spring up. It's going to have a lot more shrinkage. And then on day two, it's going to be really elongated. And if you're anything like me, that's going to bum you out because my hair can look pretty darn curly on wash day, but gravity. So here are the tips that I would say, just like Alyson said, manage your expectations and don't be afraid to play around with different things. You may have to go a more unconventional route to refresh your hair. I am actually using a foam on dry hair. So if you can pump it and it's like a fluffy foam, I'm not saying like a mousse where you push the button and it grows to the size of a softball, but something that has a lot of water in it, like a foam, dry on my hands, glazed over, scrunched in, and diffused has been refreshing my hair so well. I know we're only 10 days in, and my resolution was to, learn how to refresh this year. So I definitely don't have this fully ironed out, but dry foam or foam on dry hair has been working. What are your thoughts?
I have this is my go-to. I talk about it all the time, but because my ends tend to get drier, especially because my scalp is drier these days, I almost always will pick it out, almost like brushing it out. And I hear that the 90s blowout look, according to
Oh,
Kevin Murphy, the 90s
yep.
blowout look of the brushed out curls are going to be so big this year. By the way, they're also saying the side part is coming back, in case you needed to know that.
I refuse to do the middle part. Flat refused, never
No,
did it.
not good. It's not good. But pick it out, like make it big.
Yeah.
So pick it out, make it big, and then go in with some kind of like conditioner, a lightweight leave-in on your end, smooth it over, scrunch it in, walk out the door. If you need a little bit more grit, I love Undressed from Hair Story. Spritz that on over that. Diffuse if you want more curl. Walk out the door. Just let it be on your way to work. If you don't care, you just want those curls to come back together. But for me, the picking out, the adding moisture, the adding grit, the diffusing again is what would maximize my refresh. And that is what I did right here. So that it was this side.
Yay! I'm so glad you told us what you did. I've been on kind of pins and needles because you said you refreshed at the beginning, but you never told all the steps.
One side, but with the inner sense, not with the undress this time. So I just did the minimum. I did the whole like diffuse thing for a second and then was done. Yep.
So Erica says, I had a hair analysis in 2017 or 2018. Would my hair change from then till now? I was told that I have low porosity roots, normal, mids, and high porosity ends. Erica, yes. Yes, your hair porosity can change. You don't get diagnosed with a single hair porosity and it stay the same forever and ever. Amen. The reason is that hair porosity is directly related to the level of damage in your hair. I know, I hate to say it, please don't hate me, but you cannot have high porosity hair at your roots. Your hair may still be very absorbent to water. It may not completely repel water at your roots, but that has to do more with the texture of your hair. If it's fine or coarse, then it has to do with how high or low that hair cuticle is laying. So yes, it could change. Your hair
it could definitely change. It also, I would say, depends on how early you were like in your healthy hair journey. So if you were brand new to it, then yes, of course, like your hair is going to be more porous because more than likely it was suffering from a little bit of neglect. Maybe you had been heat styling it, you weren't deep conditioning, those kinds of things. Maybe you weren't using leave-in conditioner. All those things would close your cuticle and help it to become healthier over time. So there's a lot of things there. And maybe between now and then you've really been blowing out your hair. And so now your porosity could be higher. So the way you treat your hair, to Courtney's point, is the thing that generally determines what your porosity is. Now, I also have clients that have very tangle prone hair. And even though they take very good care of their hair, I'm inclined to think that their porosity is naturally higher, but I don't know if that's a result of it grows out. So their roots, closer to their roots, is lower porosity, but then it quickly changes, maybe based on the pillowcase they sleep on. I really don't know. So
I have a quick theory, a question I've always wanted to ask you. I've heard you say that before, and you just said it again, and it refreshed my memory. So in your experience, what do you think are these particular clients that have very tangle-prone hair? Are they naturally on the drier side, or are they on the naturally oilier side? Are they producing a whole lot of sebum, or are they not? It's kind of hard to tell because, I mean, you're seeing them over time, but maybe they're coming in with
I think it's different. It changed. I don't know if that's necessarily related. It could be, but when I think of some of my clients, like one of them in particular has oilier hair, but I can feel that also her hair has more texture to it. Like it almost has a beaded, if you've ever felt hair like that has kind of a beaded rough texture to it. And that can cause tangles, but that doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with her porosity. And then one of my other clients is on the drier side. So it could be that her hair is naturally just very dry. And that in and of itself could be why her hair is becoming more porous quickly.
Because I still, I don't know if I'm right. As much as I want to be a hair scientist and stare at every single human's strands of hair under a microscope, I would be thrilled to do that all day, every day.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I can't do that. So I can't totally prove my theory. But my theory is that it is truly low porosity the second it sprouts from your hair. It's what happens after that that determines the porosity. So okay, just like you said. Quick question somebody asked, Courtney, do you use the scalp serum between washes or on wash day? I'm using my water-based scalp serums in between wash days. I know that the directions on the scalp serum say use twice a day, morning and night, no matter what. No, I'm not doing that. I should be, but I'm just using them on the refresh days, in between wash days, to help manage the scalp. And then this was a really good question. Is there a correlation with oily scalp and low porosity?
I don't know. I really just don't know. I mean, I think it's possible because let me just think off the cuff here, because that's something I hadn't considered before, but it makes sense. So there's actually a fourth layer of our hair that's not talked about very often because most people don't have it anymore. It's a lipid layer. Sometimes it's called an endocuticle, sometimes it's called an exocuticle. Sometimes there's another name for it. I can't think what it is, but it's a lipid layer that children have when they're little. And if you ever like tried to wash little kids' hair, you're like, well, how does the water just keep rolling off? Like get wet. Like it's really hard to get the hair wet. So if you have an oilier scalp and you've got these hairs sprouting from this oily scalp, I would imagine they're probably taking more of that oil with it as it grows. And of course, every time you exist in the world, maybe you brush your hair, you do anything, you're spreading that oil down your hair. You're potentially keeping that lipid layer more intact, which would then keep the actual physical pine coney looking cuticle then protected all the time. So that would be my kind of semi-educated guess, was that, yeah, there could be.
That makes me so happy. I love how your brain works. It makes me, it scratches an itch in my own brain. Like, this is how I think of things. I love the logic that you bring to the hair care conversation. This is where my brain went when I read the question. Are oily scalp and low porosity correlated? Do they coexist? And the answer is no. Your oil production is directly correlated to you as a human and what's going on internally. What are your hormones like? What is your lifestyle like? Are you working out and getting super sweaty every single day of your existence? Are you just more prone to oil production naturally? If your hair is low porosity, it's going to show the oiliness way faster than higher porosity hair. And I have experienced this firsthand. When I got amnesia and decided it would be a great idea to bleach my hair really, really a lot, way too much, I was all of a sudden no longer oily, greasy. Yay. Oh, wait. Yes, I was. It was just all that oil and grease immediately soaked into my hair.
So here's the deal, though. You're taking my answer a step further, and that is, how do you treat your hair beyond what's growing out of your head?
I tried to controversially
disagree
with you, but I wasn't actually disagreeing with you. I was agreeing with you.
No, but it is true. It is true. Yep. Is there a correlation? Yes, most definitely there could be. But to your very brilliant point, it depends on how you treat your hair beyond once it sprouts from your scalp. Let's see this one. I'm going to pull this one up.
Okay.
I hope when you talk about a refresh or some other technique, you'll mention the product used. Yes, every time. I hope that these have been helpful. She wanted to know what I refreshed with, so I hope this was helpful. I used the Pure Inspiration Daily Conditioner from Innersense, and oftentimes I used the Undressed from Hair Story. And if my scalp is itchy, the tonic from Colton King.
Guys, I just want to say thank y'all so much to each and every single one of you that has chosen to hang out with us on this Friday. It is really special that we get to spend this time with you, and we don't take it for granted at all that you were taking time out of your day to sit here with us on the live, ask questions, and just be here with us. Like, this is so much fun to get to chat all things hair with a giant group of friends.
Thank you guys for joining us. I'm so glad we got to do this again this week, and we will be back again next week. Look for this to pop up on both of our YouTube channels under the live tab if you'd like to rewatch it. We'll have our show notes in there, links to products, all that stuff. And you can also listen to it on the go. So if you are a podcast gal and you don't want to sit and watch things, I totally get that. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and iHeartRadio Podcasts. We're in all 4 places, and we'll have those linked in the show notes as well, and in our respective YouTube and Instagram channels. So we hope to see you guys next Friday at this time if you'd like to join us live. And don't forget to subscribe to our channels and to the podcast of your choice so that you can be notified when those things go live.
Absolutely. And as always, we hope you are having an absolutely fantastic day, and we can't wait to see y'all in the next one. Bye.
See you soon. Bye, guys.